Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Elgin, Texas, home of the Elgin Wildcats, host of tonight's District 23 baseball matchup between your Georgetown Eagles and the hometown Elgin Wildcats. The Georgetown Eagles on the road tonight. They come in leading District 23 at 4-0 to take on the 3-1 Elgin Wildcats. Georgetown sits atop the district standings all by themselves, 9-10-1 on the year. Don't let it fool you, as they played a tough non-district schedule, but as they have been 4 games into district, they are undefeated and playing good baseball at the right time. The pitchers dealing well on the mound, hitters hitting the strikes, the runners, a lot of stolen bases for this team, but more importantly, this defense playing clean baseball to give these Eagles a chance to win each and every night. But they come in against a good Elgin Wildcat team, 8-9-1 on the year overall, but in second place, tied with the Hendrickson Hawks and Eastview Patriots at 3-1 in district play. It's a battle amongst top teams in the district tonight, an important ball game. Each and every one will become important for both of these teams throughout this district as the battle continues towards the playoffs. The Georgetown Eagles sit alone at number 1 in the district at 4-0 early on through 4 games, but right behind them, the Hendrickson Hawks 15-3-1 on the year, 3-1 in district. Elgin 8-9-1 at 3-1, and Eastview at 8-10 overall, but 3-1 in district play. Then behind them, a 3-way traffic jam for 5th place is Bastrop, Cedar Creek, and Pflugerville. Bastrop at 7-12-2, Cedar Creek 7-13, Pflugerville 4-14. All of those teams 1-3 in district play. And then Conley at the bottom at 4-11 on the year and 0-4 in district play. Elgin comes into this ball game. Their series last week, they were victorious in that. Dripping Springs, Georgetown played the Pflugerville Panthers. They were victorious on Wednesday night after the rain out on Tuesday at Pflugerville, 5-1, and then Friday night on Benold night at Eagle Field, 9-2 win for the Georgetown Eagles to move them to 4-0. This week at Elgin tonight here on the 28th, and then back home Friday for elementary night at Georgetown High School at the Eagle Field. We will host the Elgin Wildcats in Game 2 of this district matchup. Then the next games coming up, the first week of April, we'll be playing against the Hendrickson Hawks, another team tied near the top of the district. And so a lot of important ball games coming up for this Georgetown Eagle team as they face off against Elgin tonight and Friday, and then next week against Hendrickson, the Hawks. We'll be home next Tuesday on the 4th and then be on the road at Hendrickson on Thursday. Now remember that it will be on Thursday because that is Good Friday. No baseball games on the 7th, and so be prepared. We will probably move the coaches show up to Wednesday night there at the Golden Rule, but we'll keep you informed of that Tuesday night for certain. So tonight we're here in Elgin. Thursday night, join us live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, the host and sponsor of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show there in Georgetown, Texas. A great spot there. Come join us live on the patio as we talk to Coach Jordan Vieira and some Eagle baseball players. If you can't join us, we'll be live here on SHN. I'll have it at 6:45 p.m. Kelly may be back still in town and visit with us, but we will have the Coaches Show Thursday night there from the Golden Rule. So make sure you come and join us there live at the Golden Rule on 606 South Church Street. The Elgin Wildcats, the host of tonight's ball games, in the home whites with purple lettering, purple numbers, the purple hat with the E logo on the front. They are here in Elgin, Texas. The superintendent is Dr. Jana Reuter, the principal, Ricardo Reyes, athletic director, Jans Anderson, athletic coordinator, Heath Clausen, and the athletic trainers, Isabel Cuellar and Justin Garza. The head coach of the Elgin Wildcats, the head coach is Jason Burgess, the varsity assistant, Sean Luna, and the other assistant coaches, Zach Rickerson and Matthew DeNigro. The Wildcats, 8-9-1 on the year, and they will start things off for tonight's ball game in this manner, as selected by head coach Jason Burgess. Batting first, playing shortstop, number 11, Luke Gomez. Batting second and playing second base, number 21, Austin Miller. Batting third, playing center field, number 5, Justin Strong. Batting fourth and pitching, number 20, Nathan Lewis. Batting fifth and catching, number 22, Alex Gamez. Batting sixth and playing left field, number 30, Jackson Cloudis. Batting seventh and playing first base, number 3, Jack Grames. Batting eighth, playing third base, Jack Grames playing first base. Batting eighth, playing third base, number 10, Kason Nail. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, is number 13, Bryce Barron. On the mound is Nathan Lewis, number 20, for the Elgin Wildcats. So they will go Gomez, Miller, and Strong in the top third. Lewis, Gamez, and Cloudis, the middle third of the lineup, and Grames, Nell, and Barron in the bottom third. Your Georgetown lineup will come to you in here in just a minute as the coaches meet at home plate with the two-man umpire crew. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. More Eagle Baseball on SHN in just a moment. Back here live at Elgin High School for tonight's ball game. Here in the press box, brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including their handy mobile app. Competitive rates and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. The press box sponsored by Matt Morrow along with inning number 1. And also the starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles now will be brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. G-Town Lumber and Supply is located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serving general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. We specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Dat lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us 9400 Brown Lane in Austin or visit us on our website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you the starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles as selected by head coach Jordan Vieira. Starting off in center field, batting first is number 17. That is Devin Peterson. Batting second and playing left field, number 10, Andrew Nations. Batting third and playing third base, the senior, number 4, Brady Peters. Batting fourth and playing shortstop tonight, number 21, that's Riley Leiniger. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 11, Jackson Rainey. Batting sixth and on the mound tonight for your Eagles, number 18, David Fluitt. Batting seventh and playing right field, number 8, Jacob Faltasek. Batting eighth and playing catcher is number 7, that's Chance Pernica. And batting ninth and at second base is number 20, Talon Ball. So David Fluitt on the mound, the lefty, a sophomore, will start it out for your Eagles here tonight against the Elgin Wildcats. So it'll be Peterson, Nations, and Peters in the top third of the lineup. Leiniger, Rainey, and Fluitt the middle third for the Eagles. And Faltasek, Pernica, and Ball the bottom third for your Georgetown Eagles. The superintendent of Georgetown ISD is Dr. Fred Brent, the high school principal at Georgetown, one of the best. And Mr. Brian Johnson, athletic director, award-winning Jason Dean, athletic coordinator, Coach Chuck Griffin, the athletic trainers, two of the best in the business, Chad Hennessy and Vanessa Rideau. Head coach Jordan Vieira in his 4th season at the helm, and he does have himself a state championship behind that, as the Eagles are the defending state championships. They went 35-7 last year to take it all over any competition in the state of Texas, and what a run that team went on for Georgetown, Texas. Assistant coaches, Chad Payne, David Durrell, Robert Hom, and Mike Cockrell. Athletic trainers is Avery Mann, stat girl Grace King, Carter Campbell, Nicole Witt, and Ruby Hellman. Head-to-head between these two schools, Georgetown leads it 10-0 over the Elgin Wildcats. The last time these two teams faced off, it was on March the 19th, 2019, and Georgetown won that ball game 16-0. So tonight, as they get ready to introduce the starting lineups, we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the national anthem and be ready for the first inning. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball live here on SHN Sports. Back here live, Elgin High School in the Borrow from Morrow broadcast booth. And getting ready for the top of the first inning as Nate Lewis takes the mound to warm up here for the Elgin Wildcats. A cloudy, overcast night here with the wind blowing straight into our face. So we'll see if we can survive the possibility of thunderstorms here, or we may have to call this one early. So we'll hopefully be able to bring you this ball game live here from Elgin High School. Lewis will warm up, the right-handed hurler for the Elgin Wildcats. And I do stand corrected. The head coach of the Elgin Wildcats is Jason Bourgeois, is the way it's pronounced, not Borges, so it is Bourgeois. And it is Austin Knoll, I believe it is. I'm going to correct that. Let's see here. Kaysen Knoll in the lineup at third base, not Nail. So it is Kaysen Knoll and Coach Bourgeois. Nathan Lewis finishes his warm-ups here in the top of the first defensively for the Wildcats. In left field, Cloudus, Strong in center field, Palacios in right field. At third base is Knoll, Gomez at short, Miller at second, Grames at first base, Gamez behind the plate, and Nathan Lewis on the mound for the Elgin Wildcats. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters here in the top of the first, Devin Peterson, Andrew Nations, and Brady Peters, are getting ready for your Georgetown Eagles. The Eagles on the road have on the white pants with the black pinstripes, black socks, blue shoes with the black jerseys, blue numerals, and the blue G logo on the front. They're wearing the black ball caps with the Eagle talon on the front. As Coach Vieira heads down to the third base coaching box, Devin Peterson walks around and gets ready to start it off here in the top of the first from the right side of the batter's box. Peterson, the junior center fielder, will lead things off here in the top of the first for your Eagles. Top of the first inning brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. For all your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. BorrowFromMorrow.com, NMLS 464148. Peterson will step in from the right side. He steps in, and the first pitch from Lewis misses for ball one. 1-0 the count. Nate Lewis will work from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. And Peterson fisted out towards second base. And the second baseman, Miller, will make the catch for out number one, P4 in the book, for the first out of the ball game. And that'll bring up the left fielder, number 10, Andrew Nations.
Now batting number 10.
The Nations will step in with a .231 batting average. See a difference in the lineup tonight. Eli Hellman, a scratch. He's out ill tonight. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully Eli is all right. First pitch from Lewis to Nations is up high for ball one. 1-0 the count to the left-handed hitting Andrew Nations, the junior left fielder. Lewis from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. And swing, hits it out towards first. The first baseman, Grames, ranges over and fields it and races to first base where he makes the out three unassisted for out number two. Throw it around the horn, and Nations throws it into left field. Well, you get it back in, and here comes number 4, the third baseman, Brady Peters. Peters steps in. He leads the team with a .365 batting average. 14 singles on the year, 5 doubles, 16 RBIs. He scored 11 runs. Walked 8 times, struck out 3. First pitch, outside corner, called strike 1. No balls and a strike to Brady Peters. Steps in from the right side. Lewis from the windup. 2 outs here in the top of the first. The 0-1 pitch. And fouled off outside of play down the first baseline. Now Peters behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs. Peters back in from the right side, ready to go. Lewis a look in to his catcher Gamez, gets the sign. The 0-2 pitch stays high for ball one. 1-2 the count now to Brady Peters. Lewis ready to go. The 1-2 pitch, low and outside, ball 2. Count evens up at 2-2 now. Riley Leininger, left-handed hitting shortstop on deck for the Eagles. Should Peters reach base here with 2 outs at the top of the first. Lewis, the 2-2 pitch. Peters sends it into right field. The right fielder, Palacios, on the run. And he'll get to it just at the right field line for out number 3. F9 in the book, and the Eagles go in order here in the top of the first. After half an inning, Georgetown 0, Elgin coming up to bat. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Borrow from Morrow, Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including the handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. In MLS 464148. Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow bring you the first inning here. And the broadcast booth for you for SHN. The lefty, David Fluitt, warms up here at the bottom of the first to face off against the top three hitters for the Elgin Wildcats. It'll be Gomez, Miller, and Strong here in the bottom of the first inning. Only 9 pitches thrown. In the top of the first by Nate Lewis for the Wildcats. Other action of District 23 tonight. Georgetown here at Elgin. Eastview on the road at Bastrop. Conley on the road at Cedar Creek. And Henderson across town in Pflugerville at Pflugerville High School. And then we'll revert those all to Friday night. Elgin will be back out at Georgetown. Bastrop will be at Eastview, Cedar Creek at Conley, and Pflugerville on the road at Hendrickson High School. As some raindrops start to fall here, we'll stay with it as long as we can before the rain takes over. As Luke Gomez steps in, bottom of the first inning. The Eagles win in order in the top half of the first. Fluitt from the windup. The first pitch is in there for a called strike to Gomez. Fluitt, the lefty, from the windup to start the ball game off. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball up the middle over the head of Fluitt. Talon ball ranges over, makes the play, throws to first base in time to Cooper Ashby. And 4-3 on the putout for out number 1 to retire Gomez. Nice play there by Talon Ball, the second baseman, as he ranged over right by the second base bag and threw out the runner at first base for out number 1. In steps Asta Miller, the second baseman. He'll bat from the right side. Defensively for your Eagles, Nations in left, Peterson in center, Falta second, right. On the infield, Peters at third, Leininger at short, Ball at second, Ashby at first. The first pitch to Miller is low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the second baseman, number 21. Austin Miller. Fluitt from the windup. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner called strike 1. Count evens up at 1-1 strike now. The wind coming into home plate from dead center field here so far. The 1-1 pitch. Way outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count now. Fluitt on the mound. You have Cooper Ashby at first base tonight defensively for the Eagles. Behind the plate, Chance Pernicka. And the sophomore, David Fluitt, on the mound from the windup. The 2-1 pitch. And a ball sent down the right field line, but it is going to curl foul. And the count evens up now at 2-2 strikes to Miller. With Justin Strong, the center fielder, on deck for the Wildcats. Fluitt on the mound, 15.2 innings thrown so far here in the year. 2-2 pitch fouled off of the helmet of the umpire. Miller stays alive in the bat. 2 strikes with 1 out. Fluitt's ERA, 2.681 on the year. Struck out 13, walked 6, allowed 8 runs, 6 of them earned. Surrendered 10 hits. He's 1-0 in the record book. From the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards short. Leininger ranges over. He'll make the play. Throw it across the diamond. And not in time. Miller beats it out for an infield single. So the first base runner of the ball game on that hit by Miller will bring up Justin Strong, the center fielder. Strong will step in from the left side. He looks down and gets the signals from the third base coach.
Now batting center fielder, Justin Strong.
Ashby will hold on Miller at first base. Fluid moves to the stretch. He'll come set. The first pitch to Strong. Outside corner called, strike one. One out here in the bottom of the second. Infield single with one out has Miller down at first base. Justin Strong, the number 3 hitter in the Wildcat lineup. Up, throw over to first base. Miller back to first base. Fluid comes set from the stretch. Another throw over to first base. Miller lunges back in there. Fluid gets the sign, comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. It gets away from the pitcher, Pernica. And that allows Miller to get up to second base. So 0-2 the count to Strong, but now a runner in scoring position for the Wildcats now. Down at second base with one out. The 0-2 pitch is in the dirt. Pernica blocks that, keeps it in front of him. One and two now, the count to Strong. Fluid will come set. The 1-2 pitch. And a ground ball down the first baseline, but it'll be foul. Runner Miller will reset at second base. Strong back to the box. Trying to get some umbrellas set up so we can keep the equipment dry. Fluid back on the mound now. A look into Pernica. He'll get the sign and come set. A look back at second base. Now a timeout at the plate by Justin Strong. So we'll reset here with 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. A runner on second base. A 1 out single by Miller. Beat out the infield ball to shortstop. Now down to second base. The 1-2 pitch. And down and away for ball 2. 2-2 now the count to Justin Strong. Nathan Lewis, the pitcher, on deck for the Wildcats. Fluid comes set. A look back at second base. The 2-2 pitch. Misses low, ball 3. Now a full count to Justin Strong. Fluid comes set. A look back at Miller at second base. Leininger runs over, now backs out. The full count pitch. And a ground ball down the first baseline, but it is foul. So we'll reset and do it again. Here with a full count and 1 out in the bottom of the first. Fluid comes set. The payoff pitch to Strong. Misses up and in. Just misses for ball 4. Now back-to-back runners on base for the Wildcats. So 1 out here in the bottom of the first, and that'll bring up Nathan Lewis, the pitcher, number 20. He'll step in after he gets the sign from the third base coach. The runners on first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. The catcher, Alex Gamez, waits on deck for the Wildcats. Fluid, a long look in, a look back at second base now as he comes set. The first pitch to Lewis. Ground ball hit out to third. Peters can't handle it. It's off his glove. Back behind him to Leininger as he was playing even with the base. And a shot down to third base. Now loads the bases for the Wildcats. Seeing if they score that one on the board.
Catcher number 22, Alex Gamez.
So Miller moves up to third base. Strong to second. Lewis down to first base. As the base is loaded, as Gamez steps in, the catcher from the right side. One out here in the bottom of the first. Fluid's first pitch to Gamez, in high and inside for ball one. Nathan Lewis didn't wait. He saw that first pitch and hit it down to third base. 1-0 the count to Gamez. The 1-0 pitch fouled off back to the screen for strike one. 1-1 now the count to the catcher, Alex Gamez. Jackson Cloudus moves on deck for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the first. Fluid comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike two. One ball, two strikes, one out here in the bottom of the first. The base is full of Wildcats. Fluid comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike three. Gamez retired for the second out of the inning. First strikeout of the ball game for David Fluid. And it'll bring up the left fielder, Jackson Cloudus, with two outs and the bases loaded.
Number 30, Jackson Cloudus.
Now a courtesy runner will come in for the pitcher, Nate Lewis, at first base.
Courtesy runner at first base, number 28, Malachi Hill.
That'll be number 28, Malachi Hill, to head down to first base to run for the pitcher, Nate Lewis. Jackson Cloudus will step in from the right side with the bases loaded, two outs. The Eagles went in order in the top of the first. Now the Wildcats trying to make some noise here in the bottom of the first with the bases loaded, two outs. It's Jackson Cloudus in ready to go from the windup. Fluid's first pitch popped up, but it's going to bend back out of play for strike one to Jackson Cloudus. It's an 0-1 count, two outs. Jack Grames, the first baseman, waits on deck. Should Cloudus extend the inning for the Wildcats? Fluid back in the windup. Gets the sign from Pernica. He'll step off here and reset. Fluid gets the sign from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. That one stays high for ball one. 1-1 to count. Cloudus back in. Fluid gets the sign. The 1-1 pitch. Cloudus, a ground ball down the third base line, but it bounced foul. And now Fluid ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the left fielder, Jackson Cloudus. Fluid trying to work his way out of trouble here in the bottom of the first. Got a quick out on a ground ball to ball at second base. 4-3 on the putout. And then an infield single, a base on balls. And what I think they're going to call another base hit as the base is loaded. The 1-2 pitch called strike three. No, my goodness, the umpire raised his arm like he was about to ring him up. Instead just rubs his head and calls it a ball. Everybody, even the Elgin fans, thought it was strike three. And now it's 2-2 to Jackson Cloudus from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. And a ball hit into center field. Devin Peterson on the run will make the catch for out number 3. And the Wildcats leave 3 stranded here in the bottom of the first. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base after 1 complete inning. 0-0, your score. The first inning brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. He understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to help guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For more information, borrowfrommorrow.com, NMLS 464148. More Eagle baseball after this in just a moment. go to the top of the second. The Eagles will bring up the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Leininger, Rainey, and Fluid, to face Nate Lewis on for his second inning of work here in the ball game. G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you second inning of Georgetown Eagle baseball. Lewis from the windup. First pitch, Leininger, a swing and a miss, strike one. Leininger back in from the left side. Lewis from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. Leininger takes it for a called strike. 0-2 now the count. To the junior left-handed hitting Riley Leininger. Jackson Rainey on deck. David Fluid in the hole for the Eagles here in the top of the second. The 0-2 pitch misses low and outside. Ball one. 1-2 now the count to Jackson Rainey. Lewis ready to go from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. And Leininger, a swing and a miss. Chases it. It's down in the dirt. The catcher Gamez up with it. He'll throw to first base in time to record the out. First strikeout of the ball game for Lewis. 2-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, number 11, Jackson Rainey. Rainey will step in from the left side as well for his first at-bat of the ball game. First pitch, Jackson Rainey hits it out towards short. Gomez up with it, fires across the first in time for the out. 6-3 on the putout to retire Rainey for out number 2. And that'll bring up the pitcher, number 18, David Fluid. Fluid will step in from the left side as well. All three lefties here in a row in the lineup. Fluid batting .276 on the year. First pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 now. Nate Lewis works quickly for the Wildcats. Back on the mound, the 0-1 pitch. Fluid sends it into center field. Center fielder strong. Comes in a few steps, makes the catch, and the Eagles go in order again here in the top of the second. 3 up, 3 down. And after 1.5, we remain scoreless, 0-0. More Eagle baseball continues after this on SHN. We're back here live at Elgin High School. Go to the bottom of the second inning. The 7, 8, 9 hitters do up for the Wildcats. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers, specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us, 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. Fluid on to work his second inning for the Eagles. 26 pitches thrown in inning number 1. Allowed 2 hits, but left all 3 stranded on base as the Eagles got out of trouble with the bases jammed there in the bottom of the first. And we go to the bottom of the second. Grames, Nall, and Palacios do up. Jack Grames, the first baseman, will step in from the left side. He wears number 3. He'll face off against Fluid in the lefty-lefty matchup here. The first pitch is low and in the dirt. Gets past Pernicka for ball 1. In the first inning, Fluid allowed 2 hits. Struck out 1, walked 1. Through 26 pitches. Back on here from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1 now the count. Fluid a long look in, gets the sign, now comes the 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count to Jack Grames. Fluid from the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball hit out past the mound. Talent ball ranges over to his right. He fields it, throws the first in time. For out number 1, 4-3 on the putout to retire Grames. Here in the bottom of the second.
Next up for the Wildcats, number 10, Kaysen Nall.
Kaysen Nall will step in, the third baseman, wearing number 10 from the right side for his first plate appearance here in the ball game. With one out in the bottom of the second, the base is empty. Fluid looks in and gets the sign from Pernica from the windup. The first pitch to Nall. Just misses for ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Nall, with Omar Palacios on deck. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1 now the count. Nall back in from the right side, ready to go. Fluid, the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1-2 the count now. To Kaysen Nall, the third baseman. Back in the box, ready to go. Fluid gets the sign from Pernica. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball popped up right side, but it's going to curl back out of play. And Nall will stay alive in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Wind pretty much in the face now, kind of going left to right. The 1-2 pitch misses low and inside, evens up the count now at 2-2 to Nall. Start the ball game, and during warm-ups, the wind was straight in from center field. Now moving across the diamond from left to right. Center fielder Peterson shaded to the right side of second base. The 2-2 pitch back up the middle, and that's going to get into center field for Nall. A base hit with 1 out. Third hit of the ball game for the Wildcats, and reminiscent of the first inning.
Next up for the Wildcats,
A ground out to second base for out number 1, and then a base hit. Followed up here in the second inning as Nall hits one up the middle into center field, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, number 13, Omar Palacios. He bats for Barron, the right fielder. First pitch is high. Sam Palacios checked his swing there, so it'll be ball 1. 1-0 the count to Omar Palacios. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Nall leads off first base after a 1-out single. The 1-0 pitch, outside corner, misses for ball 2. Fluid comes set. The 2-0 pitch to Palacios. The ball sent down the right field line. Baltazar gives chase, but it's going to fall foul for strike 1. Two and 1 to count now. To the number 9 hitter in the Wildcat lineup, Omar Palacios, the designated hitter. Top of the lineup on deck, Luke Gomez. Fluid from the stretch, gets the sign and comes set. The 2-1 pitch, and a ground ball hit out towards third. Peters charges. He'll throw to second. Nice scoop by Ball on to first in time. What a play there by the Eagle defense. 5-4-3 for the double play. Great turn by Talent Ball as he scooped the low throw and throws on to first to get Palacios and to retire the Wildcats in order here in the bottom of the second. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and no runners left on after 2 complete. 0-0 your score. Back with more Eagle baseball after this. The second inning was brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply, 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit the website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. here in the Borrow for Morrow broadcast booth. We're at Elgin High School. We go to inning number 3. The Eagles and the Wildcats, 0-0 your score through 2 full innings. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Nathaniel Funk brings you inning number 3 here of Eagle Baseball. Nathan Lewis on the mound. The first pitch is high for ball 1 to Jacob Faltasek. The 7, 8, 9 hitters due up here in the top of the 3rd for the Eagles. Faltasek, Pernica, and Ball. The 1-0 pitch from Lewis, grounded out in front of the mound, a kind of a little bounder. Swinging bunt, throw down to first from Lewis to Grames for out number 1 to retire Faltasek. 1-3 on the putout. And the 7th batter in the row retired for the Eagles. And now the catcher, number 7, Chance Pernica, will step in with one out here in the top of the 3rd. Pernica back for his 2nd game now after being out for an injury. First pitch is high for ball 1 from Lewis. Through 2 complete innings, Lewis had only thrown 16 pitches on the night. The 1-0 pitch to Pernica. Pernica pops it up left side of the infield. High fly ball. The third baseman, Nall, ranges over, but he can't make the play, and it lands in fair territory. And so it will be E3 or E5 to allow Pernica to reach base with one out. And we will have a courtesy runner. So Pernica reaches first. The Eagles have their first base runner, and it looks like number 6, Cord Lawrence, will come on to run for the catcher, Pernica. It can't be. Talon Ball steps in, the number 9 hitter in the Eagle lineup for his first at bat. Ground ball hit out towards 3rd. Nall up with it, throws to 2nd in time for out number 2. But Talon Ball gets down to 1st in time. So he'll reach on the fielder's choice with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. 5-4 to cut down the runner at second base. I believe it was number 9, Noah Boris, running for the catcher, Pernica. Makes it difficult with no numbers on the front of the jerseys. And now Devin Peterson, the leadoff man in the Eagle lineup, steps up 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to second base. Throw over to first, ball dives back in safely. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Talon Ball reaches on the fielder's choice, gets a big lead at first base here. Lewis comes set. The pitch home. Outside corner called strike 1 to Peterson. 0-1 the count to the center fielder. Peterson batting .289 of the year coming into tonight. The 0-1 pitch. Takes it just high for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Peterson. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Grames holds ball on at first base. Gets a lead there. Lewis from the stretch comes set. Throw over to first, and Talon Ball will dive back in safely there. Peterson ready to go from the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Lewis comes set. The 1-1 pitch as ball takes off. The curveball stays high. Talon Ball will slide in safely at second base for the first stolen base of the night for your Eagles. So now 2 outs and a runner in scoring position for the Eagles here in the 3rd inning. Talon Ball's 9th stolen base of the year. Peterson back in there. 2 balls and 1 strike to count to Peterson. The 2-1 pitch. Misses up and away, ball 3. Andrew Nation's on deck. Should Peterson be able to extend the inning here? Now the catcher, Gamez, heads out to talk with the pitcher, Nathan Lewis. The infield visit has ended. And now Gamez comes back behind the plate. Talon ball returned to second base as Coach Vieira was visiting with Ball and Peterson. Talon down at second base. Reached on the fielder's choice and installed second base. 3-1 the count to Peterson here with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Lewis a look in to Gamez, gets the sign and comes set. The 3-1 pitch. Low and outside for ball 4, and a 2-out walk as the runners on first and second for the Eagles here in the top of the third. First walk issued in the ballgame by Nathan Lewis. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting left fielder, Andrew Nations. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game as he grounded out to first base in the first inning. Steps in here with runners on first and second with 2 outs in the top of the third. Nations has a .231 batting average coming into the ninth. The first pitch misses inside for ball 1. Now the Eagle lineup starting to see more pitches from Nathan Lewis here. Some runners have gotten on board. The attention being diverted to the runners. Lewis, the 1-0 pitch. Nations a swing and a miss, strike 1. Talon ball leads off second. Peterson off first. Lewis comes set. The 1-1 pitch to Nations. A breaking pitch catches the outside corner for a called strike. And now 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 Nations. Two outs here in the top of the third. Lewis comes set. A look back at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Nations a swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the Eagles are down here in the top of the third inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base after 2.5. 0-0 still your score. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. BorrowFromMorrow.com, proud sponsors of Eagle Baseball. This second inning brought to you by Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown, Edward Jones Financial Advisor. Located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. The Elgin Wildcats come up here in the bottom of the third inning. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters due up. Gomez, Miller, and Strong.
Leading off the Wildcats, shortstop number 11, Luke Gomez.
Gomez steps in. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Grounded out to second base back in the first inning. Flew it on for his third inning of work. 40 pitches through 2 innings. Lefty from the windup. First pitch. Inside corner called strike 1. To Luke Gomez, the shortstop. Through 2 innings. Fluids allowed 3 hits, struck out 1, walked 1. The 0-1 pitch. Outside corner misses for ball 1. 0-1 the count. Or 1-1 the count, I'm sorry, to Gomez. Fluid gets the sign from Pernica from the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Misses outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count now. Austin Miller, Justin Strong. The 2 and 3 hitters due up here. In the top of the third, or bottom of the third for the Wildcats. 2-1 pitch. Inside corner called strike 2 and evens out the count now. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gomez. Fluid gets the sign from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Pernica scoops it in the dirt, and he'll throw down to first to Ashby for the out. Second strike of the ball game for Fluid. To retire Gomez. Here in the bottom of the third, and now the second baseman, Austin Miller, will step up. 2-3 on the putout for the out. And now Austin Miller steps in, 1 for 1 in the ball game. Singled in the first and was left stranded at third base. First pitch fouled back to the screen. 4 strike 1 on Austin Miller. 0-1 the count. With the 2 strikeouts in the ball game. Fluid now with 15 on the year. From the windup, the 0-1 pitch. Foul tip into the glove of Pernicka. 4 strike 2, and now Fluid ahead. No balls and 2 strikes to Austin Miller with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. From the windup, the 0-2 pitch. Just misses the outside corner. Nice pitch there on 0-2 by Fluid. Tried to backdoor it on the outside corner. Couldn't get the call. Now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Austin Miller. Fluid gets the sign from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. And that's fouled off down the first baseline, out of play. Miller stays alive in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes, so 1 out. Here in the bottom of the third, brought to you by Nathaniel Funk. EdwardJones.com/Nathaniel Funk. The 1-2 pitch. Down in the dirt. Coach Vieira wanted to be checked, and check swing by Miller. They're going to say he did not go around. So the infield stays warm on the throwdown. 2-2 now, the count to Miller with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Fluid ready from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. And a ball fouled off into the screen. Miller fights here. Stays alive, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Thursday night, live from the Golden Rule. 606 South Church Street, the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Coach Vieira. The 2-2 pitch. And a ball popped up right side, but it's going to curl back out of play. And Miller continues to fight in this at-bat. Next pitch will be the 8th of the at-bat for Miller. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fluid gets the sign. The 2-2 pitch. That one skips in for ball 3, and now a full count to Austin Miller. With 1 out, the base is empty here in the bottom of the third. The Wildcats had the bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the first and could not get a run across. Retired in order in the second. The 3-2 pitch fouled off back to the screen. Now, 10th pitch of the at-bat. The next pitch thrown by Fluid to Austin Miller. Nice quality at-bat here by the second baseman. Miller back in from the right side. Chokes up, ready to go. Fluid from the windup. The payoff pitch. And a pop-up on the inside, or on the first base side. Ashby into foul territory, calls for it, and he'll make the catch. 4 out, number 2. P3 in the book to retire Miller. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Justin Strong. Strong steps in 0 for 0 in the ball game. His first plate appearance was back at the first inning where he reached on a base on balls. The only one of the ball game issued by Fluid through this point. Steps in here with 2 outs and the base is empty. The first pitch from Fluid misses low and outside, ball 1. Lefty ready to go. The 1-0 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards second. Talon ball to his left. He'll scoop it up, take his time, throw to Ashby at first to retire Strong for the 3rd out of the inning. 4-3 on the putout. Retires the Elgin Wildcats in order here in the bottom of the 3rd. And after 3 complete innings, 0-0 your score between the Georgetown Eagles and the Elgin Wildcats. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you the 3rd inning of Georgetown Eagle baseball. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Back for the top of the fourth inning here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. The Eagles come up to bat here in the top of the fourth, 0-0 your score. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. And here in the fourth inning, we bring up the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Eagles, Peters, Leininger, and Rainey. Peters 0 for 1 in the ball game, flew out to the right fielder. The first pitch from Lewis misses low for ball 1. 30 pitches through 3 innings for Nathan Lewis. 1-0 pitch to Peters. Low and outside, ball 2. Through 3 complete innings. Lewis is not allowed to hit. He struck out 2 and walked 1. Stranded 2 base runners last inning for the Eagles. The 2-0 pitch misses low and inside. Ball 3 now to Brady Peters. You can imagine here now that Brady will be taken all the way. Lewis from the windup. The 3-0 pitch gets the outside corner call for ball strike 1. 3-1 now the count to the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. Peters back ready to go. Lewis ready to go from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. Peters sends it into left field, a base hit to lead off the top of the fourth for your Eagles. First hit of the ball game against Nathan Lewis for your Eagles. So Brady Peters down at first base, and Riley Leininger, the left-handed hitting shortstop, steps in. Struck out swinging in the second inning, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Riley steps in here with no outs in the top of the fourth and a runner down at first base. Lewis now to the stretch. Look over at first base. No first pitch. He'll throw over lightly to first base as Peters dives back in safely. Top of the fourth inning. First hit of the ball game to lead off the inning. Brady Peters for your Eagles. The runner at first base. The first pitch to Leininger outside, ball 1. Lewis. Leininger steps out and gets the sign. Peters leads off first. Graves holds him on there. Lewis comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch way outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Riley Leininger. Jackson Rainey, the DH, on deck for your Eagles. Coach Vieira goes through the signs down at third base. Leininger back in from the left side. Peters will lead off first here. Lewis will look over now. Comes set from the stretch. The 2-0 pitch. Leininger into right field. Back-to-back singles will have runners at first and second for Georgetown here in the top of the fourth. Nice piece of hitting there by the junior shortstop, Riley Leininger. Peters moves up to second base, and now Jackson Rainey comes up to bat with no outs and runners on first and second. So the Eagles getting things going here as they get through the second rotation to face off against the starter, Nathan Lewis, for the Wildcats. Peters leads off with a single to left field. Riley follows up with a single to right. Runners at first and second, no outs here in the top of the fourth. Rainey steps in 0 for 1 in the ball game, grounded out to the shortstop. He'll square to bunt, lay it down the third baseline, but it goes foul for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Jackson Rainey. David Fluitt, the pitcher on deck for your Eagles here in the top half of the fourth inning. Coach Vieira goes through the signs. Peters and Leininger will lead off second and first base respectively as Jackson Rainey back in from the left side for your Eagles. Lewis, he'll come set and look back at Peters at second base. The 0-1 pitch. Rainey squares around a bunt, pulls it back, and takes it high for ball one. And the count evens out at 1-1 to the DH, Jackson Rainey. Rainey squares the bunt. Lewis comes set. The 1-1 pitch. He'll take it. It gets off the glove of the catcher. It's going to be a pass ball, and that'll allow both runners to move into scoring position at second and third. Brady Peters up to third. Riley Leininger to second, and now a coach visit for the Elgin Wildcats. And we'll take a break with them. Quick timeout. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Visit is over, and Jackson Rainey back in the box. Ready to go. Runners on second and third with no outs. Lewis goes back to the windup here. A 2-1 count to Rainey. The 2-1 pitch. Rainey takes it low and inside. Ball three. Rainey way ahead here in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike with no outs and runners on second and third. For the Eagles, Lewis gets the sign from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. And it's high. Ball 4. And now the base is loaded full of Eagles here in the top of the 4th. Second walk of the ball game for Lewis. Now it'll step in. David Fluitt, the sophomore pitcher. Fluitt batting .276 on the year. Walked 6 times, struck out 6, has 4 RBIs, scored 4 runs. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to the center fielder in the second inning. Steps in here with the bases loaded, no outs. The lefty Fluitt in, ready to go. Lewis from the windup, the first pitch. Fluitt takes it for a strike. 0-1 the count. Jacob Faltazek on deck for the Eagles. No outs, bases loaded. The 0-1 pitch from Lewis. Fluitt fouls it back off the catcher's mitt for strike 2. 0-2 now the count. To David Fluitt. Sophomore pitcher. Lewis gets the sign. Fluitt back in from the left side. The 0-2 pitch. Fluitt watches it down into the dirt for a called ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. To David Fluitt. Peters down at third. Leininger at second. Jackson Rainey at first. Back-to-back singles. And then a base on balls to Rainey. Has loaded the bases here with no outs in the top of the 4th for your Eagles. Lewis from the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Outside, ball 2. Count goes even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to David Fluitt. Fluitt back in from the left side, ready to go. Lewis on the mound, gets the sign. The 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3. And now a full count to David Fluitt with no outs and the bases loaded. Lewis from the windup, the payoff pitch. Fluitt ground ball down the third baseline, and it's just foul. Coach Vieira pointing fair. They're going to call it foul. What a shot down the third baseline. 2 runs would have easily scored had it been fair. But now we'll all return to their respective bases and reset with a full count, no outs. Brady Peters back to third, Leininger back to second. Jackson Rainey back to first. And that's a full count walk. David Fluitt, the RBI walk, scores Brady Peters from third base. The first run of the ball game. The Eagles take a 1-0 lead over the Elgin Wildcats. Leininger up to third. Jackson Rainey up to second. David Fluitt draws the third walk of the ball game by Nathan Lewis, and that'll bring up Jacob Faltasek.
Next up for the Eagles, Jacob Faltasek.
Number 6, Cord Lawrence, comes in to run for the pitcher, David Fluitt.
Courtesy runner at first base, number 6. Cord Lawrence.
And now Faltasek will step in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Chopped back to the pitcher's mound. Into the third inning. Steps in here with bases loaded and no outs. 1 run across in the inning. The first pitch to Faltasek misses high and outside, ball 1. Faltasek, the senior right fielder. Batting 200 on the year. Steps back in from the right side with the bases loaded, no outs. Lewis from the windup. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Chance Pernica on deck for your Eagles. 1 run across here. Go ahead run, walked in by Lewis. The 1-1 pitch to Faltasek. A swing and a miss, strike 2. 1-2 the count now. Faltasek back in from the right side. Lewis from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. Faltasek, base hit left field. That's going to score 1 as Leininger comes in. Rainey around from second all the way to score. A 2 RBI single for Jacob Faltasek. A great piece of hitting with the bases loaded and no outs. Faltasek gets 2 RBIs on the base hit. And the Eagles take a 3-0 lead over the Elgin Wildcats. Faltasek moves up to third, and Cord Lawrence running for the pitcher. Fluitt moves up to third on the throw from the outfield. So now runners at second and third with no outs. So the Eagles continue to threaten here. 3 runs across here in the first, or the top of the fourth, and Chance Pernica takes that pitch high for ball 1. And now Gamez will go out to talk to Lewis, calm him down. Some action now in the Wildcat bullpen here in the top of the fourth as the Eagles have put up 3 and still have runners on second and third with no outs. Back-to-back singles to lead off the inning, then a base on balls 2 in a row. Walked the first run in. Then Jacob Faltasek scores 2 on a 2 RBI single to left field. And he's down at second. Cord Lawrence at third. Pernica, 1-0 count. The 1-0 pitch. Pernica sends it into left field. This will score Lawrence from third base. The catch made. Lawrence will tag up. He takes off, but he'll stop and head back. Nice throw from the left fielder, Cloudus, to keep Cord Lawrence at second base, or third base. So F7 in the book to record the first out of the inning of Pernica. That'll bring up Talon Ball. Reached on a fielder's choice, stole second base in the third inning, was left stranded there. Talon steps in with 1 out. Runners on second and third. Lewis, the first pitch. Wild pitch in the dirt, and that's going to score Cord Lawrence from third base and allow Faltasek to move up to third base. Now the Eagles plate their 4th run of the inning to take a 4-0 lead over the Wildcats on that wild pitch from Nate Lewis. Now Talon Ball will step back in. 1 ball and no strikes, so 1 out and a runner at third. Swinging, chops it out towards third base. The third baseman Nall up with it. Throws across the diamond in time to record Talon Ball, but a productive out there as he scores Faltasek from third base. So an RBI on the ground out by Ball. Pushes the lead to 5-0 for your Eagles.
Next up for Georgetown, number 17.
And that will bring up the top of the lineup, Devin Peterson. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Popped out to second the first, walked in the third. Lewis from the windup. The first pitch to Peterson. Low and outside, ball one. The eighth batter of the inning for the Eagles here in Devin Peterson. The 1-0 pitch. This is low for ball two. 2-0 the count. To the junior center fielder, Devin Peterson. Lewis from the windup. The 2-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. 2-1 now the count. To Peterson. 2-1 pitch. Called a strike two. Here a little groan from the crowd. A little low there, but now the count 2-2 to the center fielder. Lewis from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Way outside, ball three. Now a full count to Devin Peterson. With 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the fourth, but the Eagles have pushed a run across 5 runs here in the top half of the fourth inning. Lewis, the payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. So a 2-out walk puts Peterson on first base. Second time he has walked in the ball game. 4th walk of the ball game for Lewis, and that'll bring up Andrew Nations, the left fielder. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game, a strikeout and a ground out. And that will be all for Nathan Lewis. A visit from the coaching staff of Elgin gives us a timeout. Back with more Eagle baseball. They lead at 5-0 here in the top of the fourth. Be right back here on SHN. So the visit to the mound. Nathan Lewis stays in for the Wildcats. 2 outs and a runner at first. Andrew Nation steps in. The first pitch. On the outside corner, called strike one. Oh, and 1 the count to Nations. Lewis comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. On the outside corner, called strike two. 0-2 now the count to Nations. Devin Peterson, the 2-out walk, leads off first base. Graves holds him on at first. Lewis comes set, the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Eagles are down here in the top of the fourth. But not before they pick up 5 runs on 3 hits. No errors. 1 runner left on base. The Eagles take the 5-0 lead over the Wildcats after 4.5. Back with more Eagle baseball here in a minute on SHN. Go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Fluid back on the mound for the Eagles. First pitch misses just outside for ball one. He'll face off against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters here in the Wildcat lineup, Lewis, Gammas, and Cloudus. Fluid from the windup. The 1-0 pitch to Lewis. Outside corner called strike one. 1-1 the count. 57 pitches through 3 innings. For Fluid, he's given up 3 hits, struck out 2, walked 1. The 1-1 pitch misses low in the dirt for ball 2. 2-1 the count now. Fluid back on the mound, ready to go. The 2-1 pitch popped up on the right side of the infield. Talent Ball will call for it from second base. Make the catch for out number 1. P4 in the book to retire Lewis. And that'll bring up the catcher, Alex Gamez. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging in the first inning. Steps in here with 1 out, and the base is empty in the bottom of the 4th. Gamez from the right side. Fluid from the windup. The first pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 the count to the catcher, Gamez, with Jackson Cloudus, the left fielder, on deck for the Wildcats. Fluid from the windup. The 0-1 pitch just misses outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count now. Fluid works the center of the rubber from the windup. Gets the sign. The 1-1 pitch. Outside, ball 2. 2-1 now. To the catcher, Gamez. Fluid ready to fire away. The 2-1 pitch fouled off. Down the first base line, curls out of play, and the count goes even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Gamez. Gamez back in the box. Fluid looks in and gets the sign from Pernica. The 2-2 pitch. Fisted out towards first base, towards second base. Talent Ball ranges over. Back behind first base in the outfield grass to make the catch for out number 2. L4 in the book. Retires Gamez, and that'll bring up the left fielder, number 30, Jackson Cloudus. Cloudus 0 for 1 in the ball game as he lined out to end the first inning to the center fielder, Devin Peterson. Fluid from the windup. The first pitch to Cloudus is low and inside, ball 1. Cloudus steps back in from the right side, a very open stance. Fluid gets the sign, the 1-0 pitch. In there for a called strike, 1-1 now the count. Fluid ready to go, the 1-1 pitch. Just misses, or ball 2. 2-1 now to Cloudus. With Jack Grames, the first baseman, waits on deck for the Eagles. Cool night here for baseball in Elgin. Up in the broadcast booth, brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. 2-1 pitch misses on the outside corner. 4 ball 3, 3-1 now the count. To Cloudus with 2 outs, and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 4th. Eagles put up 5 runs in the top of the 5th, or top of the 4th. Now Fluid, the 3-1 pitch. Wow. Missed somewhere for the 2-out base on balls. Cloudus reaches on the second walk of the night issued by Fluid. He'll head down to first base, and Jack Grames, the first baseman, steps in. He's 0 for 1. Grounded out to the second baseman, Talent Ball, back in inning number 2. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at first. Grames bats from the left side. The lefty-lefty matchup, first pitch. On the outside corner, called strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. To the first baseman, Grames. Fluid from the stretch. A look at first base. The 0-1 pitch. Misses outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count now. Cloudus leads off first, being held on by Ashby. Fluid, the 1-1 pitch. fouled off back to the backstop for strike two. 1-2 now the count to the first baseman, Jack Grames. Flew a long look in. Now he'll come set. Take a peek over at first. Now the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Blowing outside for ball two. Nice stop there by Pernicka to keep that in front of him. Not allow Cloudus to move up to second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. 5-0 your score. Georgetown 5 across to the top of the fourth. Trying to shut the Eagles or the Wildcats down here in the bottom. The breaking pitch just misses up and in. Ball 3. Now a full count to Jack Grames. So Cloudus will be off running on the pitch with 3-2 count and 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Fluid comes set. 3-2 pitch. Outside corner called strike 3, and Grames is down on strikes as he tossed his bat away like he was walking down to first. And instead he'll go pick it up and head back to the dugout, and the Wildcats are down here in the bottom of the fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on after 4 complete. Georgetown 5, Elgin 0. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Matt Morrow, your family, your future, our focus for your mortgage needs. Remember, Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. Through 4 innings of work, Nathan Lewis has thrown 66 pitches, allowed 3 hits, 5 runs, struck out 3, walked 4, and 1 wild pitch. And he'll face off against the 3, 4, and 5 hitters here again in the 5th inning as the Eagles hit around in the top of the 4th. Peters, Leininger, and Rainey due up here in the top of the 5th again. Peters started it off in the top of the 4th with a leadoff single, came around to score the first run of the ball game. The first pitch from Lewis misses up and in for ball 1. Peters back in from the right side. Lewis from the windup. The 1-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. 1-1 now the count to your senior third baseman, Brady Peters. Lewis from the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside for ball 2. 2-1 now to Brady Peters. The Eagles went to work there in the top half of the 4th, putting up 5 on the 3. The 2-1 pitch. Low part of the zone, called for strike 2, and now Peters 2-2 in the count to Nathan Lewis. Quickly back on the mound. Peters steps in. Lewis ready to go. The 2-2 pitch. Low and outside for ball 3, and now a full count to Brady Peters. 1 for 2 in the ball game. And a .365 average to start the night. The payoff pitch from Lewis. Peters sends it into left center field. The left fielder Cloudus on his horse ranges over to his left and makes the catch for out number 1. F7 in the book to retire Peters. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting shortstop, number 21, Riley Leininger. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. He followed Peters with a single in the top of the 4th. Steps in here with 1 out and the base is empty. Leininger started the ball game with a .244 average. 1 for 2 on the night so far. Lewis from the windup. The first pitch to Leininger on the inside corner. Generous strike zone there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Riley. Leininger back in. Lewis the 0-1 pitch. Leininger, a swing and a miss, strike 2. Riley back in from the left side, ready to go. Lewis from the windup, the 0-2 pitch. Misses outside for ball 1. Jackson Rainey, the DH, waits on deck for the Eagles here in the top of the 5th inning. Nathan Lewis in the windup, the 1-2 pitch to Leininger. Leininger fisted out into left field. Cloudis to his left, now back to his right. And he'll catch the ball for out number 2, F7 in the book to retire Leininger. That'll bring up the designated hitter, number 11, Jackson Rainey. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Grounded out in the 2nd, walked and scored a run in the 4th. Rainey in from the left side. The first pitch from Lewis just misses for ball 1. Late break there on that breaking pitch. Didn't get the corner in time. 1-0 the count to Rainey. Lewis from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1 the count here in the top of the 5th with 2 outs and the bases empty. The Eagles, 5 runs in the 4th, lead at 5-0 over the Elgin Wildcats. Jackson Rainey back in. Lewis from the windup, the 1-1 pitch. On the outside corner, called strike 2. Thursday night, the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live from the Golden Rule. Come join us there with Coach Vieira and a couple of baseball players from the Georgetown Eagles. Lewis, the 1-2 pitch. And Rainey fouls it off back to the screen. Stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here in the top half of the 5th inning. 606 South Church Street. Join us at the Golden Rule. Proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And the Eagles go in order here in the top of the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. After 4.5 innings, 5-0 your score. Georgetown leads it over Elgin. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Switch sides of my scorebook. Kaysen Knoll leads it off. The 8-9-1 hitters due up here in the bottom of the 5th for the Wildcats. Flew it on to work his 5th inning for the Eagles. First pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Knoll 1 for 1 on the night, a single. Back in the 2nd was cut down on a 5-4-3 double play at second base. The 1-0 pitch from Fluid misses outside, ball 2. Through 4 complete. Fluid has allowed 3 hits, struck out 3, walked 2. He's thrown 77 pitches, starting the bottom of the 5th. The 2-0 pitch to Knoll. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 2-1 the count to Kaysen Knoll, the third baseman. Omar Palacios, the designated hitter, on deck. Luke Gomez, shortstop, in the hole for the Wildcats. Fluid from the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Called strike 2 on the bottom half of the zone. Consistency is all you ask for from the home plate umpire in his strike zone. And that is what you get there. Nice pitch by David Fluitt. Now an even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch. The big bender stays high for ball 3, and now a full count to 0 to lead things off here in the bottom of the 5th for the Wildcats. The payoff pitch to 0. Ball sent out into center field. Peterson to his left. He'll lay out and make the catch for out number 1. What a play by your center fielder. Put a gold star on that one. Devin Peterson gives chase and lays out to make the catch for out number 1. L8 in the book, retires null. And that'll bring up Omar Palacios, the designated hitter in the 9th slot. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Grounded into a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. Back in the 2nd, steps in here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. The first pitch from from Fluitt in there for a called strike. Beautiful defensive play there by Devin Peterson to record the leadoff out in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-1 pitch from Fluitt misses low for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Palacios. From the windup, the 1-1 pitch. Foul ball over to the third base dugout. And now Fluitt ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the number 9 hitter, Omar Palacios. 1 out, base is empty. Here in the bottom of the 5th for the Wildcats. Palacios ready to go. The 1-2 pitch. Outside corner just misses. Nice miss there by Fluitt. Just didn't get the call. He evens out the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fluitt ready to go from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball, foul down the third baseline. Palacios stays alive in the at-bat now. Two balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. The 2-2 pitch. Check down to first base. They said he did not go around, so the count goes full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Omar Palacios. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Fluitt from the windup. The payoff pitch. Inside corner called strike 3. Palacios down on strikes looking for out number 2. That is the 4th strikeout of the night for David Fluitt. Now to bring up the leadoff man, number 11, Luke Gomez. Gomez 0 for 2 in the ball game. A ground out and a strikeout. Steps in here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And a visit from Coach Vieira. And we'll take a quick break. Be back with a pitching change. Your Eagles lead the Wildcats 5-0 here on SHN. Here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Borrow from Morrow, Matt Morrow. For all your financial needs, all your mortgage needs, borrowfrommorrow.com. We go to the Nathaniel Funk, called to the bullpen. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, brings you the call to the bullpen here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Now on the pitch for the Eagles in relief of David Fluitt is number 9, Noah Boris. Boris comes in. He's thrown 5.2 innings on the year, 5 2/3 innings. He's appeared in 3 ball games. Has a 1.23 ERA. First pitch to Gomez is a strike on the outside corner. Boris from the windup. Fluid moves over to first base. Ashby comes out for the Eagles defensively. The 0-1 pitch misses low for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Luke Gomez. Boris, the junior right-hander, on in relief for Fluid here in the bottom of the 5th. The 1-1 pitch to Gomez. Ball hit into left field on his horse's Nations. He's not going to get there, and that's going to be a 2-out double for Gomez. Nations will bring it in to the shortstop Leininger. A 2-out double by Gomez here in the bottom of the 5th keeps the inning alive for the Wildcats. And that'll bring up Austin Miller, the second baseman. The 4th hit of the night for the Wildcats. First of the ball game for Gomez. Miller steps in, 1 for 2 on the night. He pops it up right side of the infield. And that one's going to curl back out of play. Now the count 0-1 to Austin Miller. Miller had a single in the first, popped out to Ashby at first base in the 3rd inning. Steps in here, 1 for 2 on the night with 2 outs and a runner at second base in Gomez. Boris from the stretch, a look back at second, a throw to second base. Nope, he just spins, no throw. As Gomez dives back in safely. 0-1 the count to Austin Miller with Justin Strong on deck for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the 5th. Boris a look in, gets the sign from Pernica, comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Fouled off back behind home plate. 0-2 now. The count to the second baseman, Austin Miller. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second base here in the bottom of the 5th. 5-0. Georgetown leads it over the Wildcats. Boris a look back at second. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball hit out. Between short and third into left field. Nations is going to come up with it. And the runner is going to stay at third base. Pernica will throw down to second as Miller advanced on the throw that missed the cutoff. And so now a 2-out single by Austin Miller, his second hit of the ball game. Advances to second base on the throw. Gomez stays at third base. So back-to-back hits. Brings up the center fielder, Justin Strong. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Walked in the first, grounded out in the 3rd. Steps in here with 2 men on and 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Wildcats trying to answer the 5 runs in the top of the 4th inning by the Eagles. The first pitch from Boris, outside corner, just misses for ball 1. Boris goes back to the windup. The 1-0 pitch to Strong. Ground ball hit out towards second. Talent ball ranges over. Hits off his chest, up with it quickly, throws to first, but cannot get the play in time. And that'll score Gomez from third base. Nice hustle down the line by Strong. He beats it out. It'll be an error on the second baseman. Talent ball moves Miller up to third base. First error of the ball game by the Eagles allows the first run to score for the Wildcats, and now runners at the corners with 2 outs. Boris back to the stretch to face off against the pitcher Nathan Lewis. First pitch swinging. Misses for strike 1. 0-1 the count. The 2-out rally here has 1 across. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch from Boris. Breaking pitch just misses for ball 1. Nice pitch there by Boris. Your Coach Vieira telling him good pitch. That breaking pitch across the top part of the zone. Just misses for ball one. The 1-1 pitch. Misses just outside ball two. 2-1 to count now to Nathan Lewis, the pitcher for the Wildcats. Strong leads off third. Miller off first. The 2-1 pitch fouled off back to the screen for strike two. 2-2 now the count. To Nathan Lewis. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. A single in the first, popped out to second in the fourth. Steps in here with 1 run across and runners on the corners with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth for the Wildcats. The 2-2 pitch. Fisted out past the mound to third baseman Peters on the run. Will throw to first in time. What a play there by Brady Peters to retire the Wildcats here in the bottom of the fifth. 5-3 on the putout. Ends the inning for the Wildcats, but not before they pick up 1 run on 2 hits, a 1 Eagle error, and 2 runners left on base. After 5 complete innings, 5-1 your score. The Eagles lead the Wildcats 5-1. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Go to the top of the 6th inning here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up here in the top of the 6th for the Eagles. Fluid, Faltasek, and Pernica due up. Fluid 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to center in the 2nd inning. Reached on a base on balls in the 4th, an RBI on that bases loaded walk. Came around to score the 4th run of the ball game for the Eagles. Steps in here to lead things off against Nathan Lewis on in his 6th inning of work. First pitch to Fluid, outside corner called strike 1. Through 5 complete. Get those totals for you. This one misses low and inside, ball 1. Count evens out to 1-1 to Fluid. Lewis ready to go from the windup. The 1-1 pitch to Fluid. Way outside for ball 2. 2-1 to count to Fluid. 81 pitches through 5 innings for Lewis. He's allowed 3 hits, 5 runs, struck out 3, walked 4, 1 wild pitch. The 2-1 pitch misses for ball 3. 3-1 now the count. To the leadoff man, David Fluid. The 3-1 pitch is high, ball 4. Leadoff walk for the Eagles. From the number 6 hitter in the lineup, David Fluid. 5th walk of the night for Lewis, and that'll bring up Jacob Faltasek. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Grounded out in the 3rd, but had a beautiful 2 RBI single in the 4th to score Leininger and Jackson Rainey. And then Faltasek came around to score the 5th inning of the ball game for the Eagles on the RBI ground out by Talon Ball. Faltasek steps in here with no outs and a runner at first here in the top of the 6th from Lewis. First pitch down in the dirt for ball 1 as Faltasek pulled the bunt back. Let the pitch go for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Faltasek gets the sign from Coach Buren. Now will step in from the right side. 1 ball and no strikes, no outs. Fluid leads off first. Lewis, the 1-0 pitch, turns the bunt. Faltasek bunts it foul down the first baseline. Now the count 1 ball and 1 strike. To the senior right fielder, Jacob Faltasek. Chance Pernica, the catcher, on deck for the Eagles. Here in the top half of the 6th inning. 5-1 your score. Georgetown leads it over Elgin. 5 runs on the top of the 4th for the Eagles. 1 run in the bottom of the 5th for the Wildcats. The 1-1 pitch. Faltasek fouls it off back towards the third base dugout. And now behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hear the wind in the microphone. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Faltasek. No outs. Fluid leads off first. Lewis comes set, but he'll step off and reset on the mound. It has cooled off substantially, is the word tonight. It is chilly here in the ball field. The 1-2 pitch from Lewis. Faltasek takes it on the outside corner, called strike 3. Faltasek down for out number 1 here. In the top of the 6th. 4th strikeout of the ball game for Lewis brings up Chance Pernicka. Reached on an error in the 3rd. Flew out to the left fielder in the 4th. 0 for 2 in the ball game. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. A runner at first. Fluid leads off first, being held on by Grames. Lewis from the stretch. Throw over to first base. Fluid dives back in safely. Pernicka back in from the right side, ready to go. Lewis, a look at first, now comes set from the stretch. Pitch to Pernicka. Chance takes it for a called strike, 0-1 the count. Talon Ball waits on deck for the Eagles here in the top of the 6th inning. Another throw over to first base. Fluid dives back in safely as Grames picks it in the dirt to keep it from going down the first baseline. No balls, 1 strike to Pernicka with 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. Lewis comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Pernicka takes it, called strike 2. 0-2 the count. Lewis comes set. The 0-2 pitch for Pernicka, low and outside. It's in the dirt. Fluid had delayed still. He heads down to second. Slides in safely as the ball gets into center field. So 1-2 the count now to Chance Pernicka with a runner in scoring position now. Fluid on the stolen base. Pernicka sends us into center field. The center fielder strong. Comes in a few steps, makes the catch for out number 2. F8 in the book. To retire Pernicka, and Talon Ball will step in with 2 outs and a runner at second here in the top of the 6th inning. Ball 0 for 2 in the ball game. Reached on the fielder's choice, installed second base. Left stranded there in the 3rd. And an RBI ground out in the 4th to score Faltasek from 3rd base. It's 0 for 2 in the game. It steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at second and Fluid. Fluid, his 5th stolen base of the year. First pitch, up and in. Chin music to Talon Ball. Ducks out of the way and takes it for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the second baseman, Talon Ball. Lewis comes set. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Count evens out to 1-1 now. To the number 9 hitter in the Eagle lineup, Talon Ball. Devin Peterson waits on deck. Should Ball be able to extend the inning? Lewis comes set. A look back at second. The 1-1 pitch. Misses for ball 2. 2-1 the count to Talon Ball. Spin towards second, but no throw for Lewis. As Fluid scrambles back. So everyone will reset here as Talon Ball back in from the right side, ready to go. Lewis comes set from the stretch. A look at second base. The 2-1 pitch. Ball puts it into play into left field. The left fielder, Cloudis, on the run. And it's going to be a 2-run bomb. Wow. Talon Ball. A 2-run take, the first one of the ball game. And the first one of the year for Talon Ball as he speeds around the bases. A 2-run jack for the second baseman, Talon Ball. What a shot to left field. Cloudis gave chase but could not get to it, and that one is up and out of here. A 7-1 lead now for your Eagles. And a visit from the Elgin Wildcat dugout. It looks like a pitching change for the Wildcats. We'll take a quick timeout, come back with more Eagle baseball here in a moment on SHN. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you the call to the bullpen. The Elgin Wildcats go to the bullpen and bring out number 19, the sophomore Joaquin Rodriguez, on to replace Nathan Lewis on the mound for the Wildcats here with 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. Lewis surrenders the 2-out, 2-run tank to Talon Ball, the number 9 hitter in the Eagle lineup. Ball deposited over the left field fence. And now Nathan Lewis will head out to the outfield. Try to see who he replaced out there. So we'll try to get the defensive change. So Cloudis stays in left field, Strong in right or center field, and Nathan Lewis goes to right field to replace the right fielder Barron, number 13. So Lewis goes out to right field, and Joaquin Rodriguez on in relief here with 2 outs, and the base is empty in the top of the 6th. The Eagles lead it 7-1 over the Wildcats. Coach Vieira and Coach Bourgeois talking down the third baseline. The first pitch is up and in to Devin Peterson for ball 1. Peterson 0 for 1 in the ball game. Popped out to second base in the first. 2 back-to-back walks in the third and fourth inning. Left stranded both times at first base. The 1-0 pitch from Rodriguez popped up on the infield. Back towards home plate by Peterson. The catcher comes out and makes the catch for the third out of the inning. Game has a nice play there. P2 in the book to retire the Eagles here in the top of the 6th, but not before they pick up 2 runs on a 2-run tank by Talon Ball to take a 7-1 lead over the Wildcats. 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and no runners left on base. After 5.5 innings, 7-1 your score. Georgetown over Elgin. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Borrow from Morrow, Matt's team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt Morrow, your family, your future, our focus for your mortgage needs. Remember, Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148, the sponsor of your Georgetown Eagle SHN broadcast booth. Noah Boris on to work in his second inning of work. He'll face off against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Elgin Wildcats. The first batter is Alex Gamma as the catcher. He'll take the first pitch for a ball. 1-0 the count to Gammas. 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count to Gammas. Noah Boris came into relief through 13 pitches in the third of an inning of work in the bottom of the fifth. The 1-1 pitch misses low for ball 2. 2-1 the count. So Boris stays on the mound here in the bottom of the sixth with a 7-1 lead from the windup. The 2-1 pitch to Gammas. Just high, ball 3. Now a 3-1 count. Gammas, Cloudus, and Grames. The batters due up here in the bottom of the sixth for the Wildcats. Boris from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. Inside corner called strike 2. Gamma is ready to toss the bat aside and head down to first. Steps back in now with a full count, leading off the bottom of the sixth here for the Wildcats. Boris from the windup, the payoff pitch. Low and outside, ball 4. A lead-off walk for the Wildcats as Gamma is down at first base. First walk issued by Boris. And that'll bring up left fielder Jackson Cloudus. Courtesy runner coming in for the Wildcats appears to be number 8. Fernando Ramirez comes in to run for the catcher Gammas. Here in the bottom of the sixth. Cloudus will step in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. A line out to center field in the first. A base on balls and left stranded at first in the fourth inning. Boris moves to the stretch to face Cloudus. The first pitch is low for ball 1. Through 4 2/3 innings, Fluid allowed 3 hits, struck out 4, walked 2, threw 90 pitches. Now at first base defensively, a throw over to first from Boris. And Ramirez dives back in safely at first base. Fluid holds him on there. No balls and a strike to Cloudus. That's what they have. I have a ball and no strikes. We'll figure that one out here in just a second. Boris a throw over to first again. Ramirez dives back in safely at first base. No outs here in the bottom of the sixth. The Wildcats trail it 7-1 to your Georgetown Eagles. Boris comes set from the stretch. The pitch to Cloudus. Misses inside for the ball. Wait to see the umpire. He doesn't give a signal. They have 1-1 on the board. We have 2-0. We'll see what we got. Next signal from the umpire. The pitch from Boris on the outside corner called a strike. And there he gives it. He does give it. 2-2 the count. Or 1-2 the count. To Cloudus. Boris comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Sent into right field. Faltasek, a few steps back, makes the catch. Ramirez returned to first base. So F9 in the book for out number 1 to retire Cloudus as Faltasek hauls that one in. Jack Grames will come to the plate with 1 out, a runner at first. Grames 0 for 2 in the ball game. Ground out in the second, struck out looking in the fourth. Steps in here with 1 out. Ramirez takes a big lead off first base. Fluid holds him on there. Boris will come set from the stretch. First pitch. Grames takes it low and inside, ball 1. Want to know the count to Grames. Boris, the 1-0 pitch. Low and inside, gets away. A wild pitch will allow Ramirez to get up to second base. 2-0 the count to Grames. First wild pitch of the ball game for Eagles pitching. Now a runner in scoring position with 1 out. A 2-0 count to Jack Grames with Carson Null on deck for the Wildcats. The 2-0 pitch in there. Or a called strike. 2-1 now the count. 2-1 the count to Grimes. Boris will look back at second base. The 2-1 pitch. Stays high, ball 3, 3-1 the count. Kason Knoll on deck with Omar Palacios, the DH, in the hole for the Wildcats. Boris comes set, the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2 to Jack Grimes. So a full count with 1 out and a runner at second here in the bottom of the 6th. 7-1, Georgetown leads it over Elgin. Boris will look in, gets set. The payoff pitch just misses inside, and Grimes has a 1-out walk. Now runners on first and second for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the 6th. Second walk issued by Boris, 4th of the night for Eagle pitching. Make that the 5th of the night. So runners on first and second. Sounds like a pinch runner here for the Wildcats. For the first baseman, Jack Grimes. Somebody putting on a helmet in the dugout. Look like it might be number 28, Malachi Hibbs. Nope, it is not Malachi Hibbs. It is going to be number 7. Coming out to run, that is Austin Barnum. So Barnum will sub in as a pinch runner for the first baseman, Grimes. And in steps Kason Knoll, the third baseman. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game, a single and a line out. Steps in here with runners on first and second and 1 out. The bottom of the 6th, down by 6 runs. Boris in the stretch, comes set. The first pitch to Knoll. This is for ball 1. Boris comes set from the stretch. A look back at second base. The 1-0 pitch misses low in the dirt for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Activity down in the Eagle bullpen. As Kyle Ropolo begins to warm up for the Eagles. 2-0 the count to Knoll. The 2-0 pitch, ground ball out towards third, and it's fair down the third base line into left field. That'll score Ramirez from second base. Barnum around to third as Nations gets it in quickly, but an RBI double with 1 out for Knoll. Cuts the lead back to 5 now, 7-2. Beautiful hit down the third baseline, just inside the third base bag for Knoll. The RBI double. Third hit allowed by Boris, 6th of the night for the Wildcats. Barnum up to third base. Ramirez, the courtesy runner for the catcher, Gamez, comes in to score. A swing and a miss by this pinch hitter, number 28. That is Malachi Hibbs into pinch hit here in the number 9 slot. Swings and misses for strike 1. Boris still in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch from Boris in there for a called strike 2. So an 0-2 count to Malachi Hibbs. 1 out and 2 runners on. Runners at second and third. The pinch runner, Barnum, down at third. Nollett. And the 0-2 pitch hits Hibbs, and now bases are loaded for the Wildcats. And that may be it for Noah Boris. But we'll see here. And coach has got his lineup card. He may be questioning the fact that Malachi Hibbs was a courtesy runner. Now he's pinch hitting. So we'll see what he's doing. maybe making defensive changes. We'll see as he visits with the home plate umpire. He returns back to the dugout. No changes made here. So Luke Gomez steps up, the shortstop. Gomez 1 for 3 on the night. A double and scored the first run of the ballgame for the Wildcats back in the 5th inning. Struck out in the 3rd, grounded out in the 1st. Stands in here with 1 out and the bases loaded. 7-2, Georgetown by 5. The first pitch, low and outside in the dirt. Good block there by Pernica. 1-0 the count to Gomez. Austin Miller on deck for the Wildcats. Boris comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Breaking pitch, catches the outside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 the count to Luke Gomez, the shortstop. One the count to the shortstop, Luke Gomez. Boris comes set from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking pitch misses outside for ball 2. 2-1 the count. Barnum, the pinch runner, leads off 3rd. Dahl off 2nd. Malachi Hibbs down at first base. That one's in the dirt for ball 3. 3-1 now the count to Luke Gomez. Morris still in the stretch. A look into Pernica. Now he'll come set. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The 3-1 pitch. The breaking pitch in there for a called strike. So now a full count to Luke Gomez. With 1 out and the bases loaded. Gomez back in. Boris comes set from the stretch. The payoff pitch. Ground ball hit foul down towards the 3rd base dugout. Gomez stays alive in the at-bat. 3-2 the count. Five runs in the top of the 4th for the Eagles, 2 in the top of the 6th. The Wildcats 1 in the bottom of the 5th, and they've responded with 1 here in the bottom of the 6th so far. The payoff pitch to Gomez, and just misses for ball 4. So a bases loaded walk. Brings another run in for the Wildcats, the 2nd of the inning. 3rd walk issued by Boris. That will score Barnum, the pinch runner, from 3rd base. Null will move up to 2nd. Null will move up to 3rd. Hibbs to 2nd. And Coach Vieira makes the mound visit. And we'll take a timeout. Be back with the pitching change. You listen to Eagle Baseball on SHN. Back here in the SHN press box, Borrow from Morrow. proud sponsor of the SHN broadcast booth. Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com brings you the broadcast booth here on SHN Sports. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Coach Vieira brings in the senior right-hander, number 14, Kyle Ropolo, on in relief for the Eagles here with 1 out. And the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th. 7-3 your scores. The Eagles lead it by 4. Wildcats have 2 runs across here in the bottom of the 6th. Ropolo has a 0.00 ERA on the season. He's only allowed 2 hits, no runs. Has not walked any, struck out 8. He steps in here with the bases full of Wildcats, and he'll face off against Austin Miller, who's 2 for 3 on the night from the plate. Ropolo from the stretch. The first pitch to Miller. In there for a called strike. On deck, Justin Strong, the center fielder, who is 0 for 2 on the night for the Wildcats. He waits on deck. Ropolo comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Misses just low for ball 1. First thing I'm thinking is don't let that strike zone change now. Into this 6th inning. 7-3 your score. Georgetown by 4 right now. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out for the Wildcats. Ropolo comes set. The 1-1 pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count to Austin Miller. Single in the first. Fly out in the 3rd inning. A single in the 5th. 2 for 3 on the night. Behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here to Kyle Ropolo. Ropolo comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball hit down towards 3rd base, but it is going to stay foul. Peters grabs that quickly. So we'll reset. All the runners will return to their bases, and Austin Miller will head back to the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes here with 1 out and the bases loaded. If you hear a shiver in the voice, it's because it's getting cold here in Elgin, Texas. Up high in the stands in the broadcast booth. Beautiful night, but it is a chilly night. Kyle Ropolo looks in and gets the sign from Chance Pernica. He'll come set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A big strikeout for Kyle Ropolo of Austin Miller. Brings about the 2nd out of the inning for the Wildcats. First strikeout for Kyle on the evening, and that'll bring up Justin Strong. Walked in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd, reached on an error in the 5th. He's 0 for 2 in the night, but steps in here with bases still loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. The lefty steps in from ready to go against the right-handed Ropolo. Kyle looks in, then comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to Strong. Ground ball hit down the 3rd baseline. Almost hit the runner Null off 3rd base. So 0-1 the count to Justin Strong. Noah Boris through 1 inning, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, walked 3, I believe. Hit 1. The 0-1 pitch. Misses for ball 1, 1-1 the count to Justin Strong. Boris still responsible for the 3 runners on the base for the Wildcats. So Ropolo tries to come in and shut down the 6th inning here. Ropolo set. The 1-1 pitch to Strong. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2. The count to Justin Strong, the center fielder. Ropolo gets the sign, comes set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Just misses outside for ball 2. 2-2 now the count. To the left-handed hitting Strong. The 2 runs in the top of the 6th for the Eagles came on the 2-run tank by Talon Ball to left field. Big 2 runs sitting there right now for the Eagles as the lead is 4 instead of just 2. Ropolo comes set, a 2-2 pitch. Ball slapped foul down the third baseline onto the tennis courts, and the count stays 2-2 to Justin Strong. 2 outs and the bases loaded, the 8th hitter of the inning for the Wildcats. 2 runs in so far here in the inning. Ropolo comes set, the 2-2 pitch. Ball hit into out towards second. Talaball will grab the line drive for out number 3, and the Eagles get out of more damage here in the 6th. 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and the bases left loaded for the Wildcats. And after 6 complete innings, 7-3 your score. Georgetown leads it by 4. Back with the last inning, the 7th inning, after this on SHN. Go to the top of the 7th inning. Georgetown leads it over Elgin 7-3 as we go to the last inning here in the ball game. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters do up for your Eagles to face off against the right-handed throwing Joaquin Rodriguez. Came on a relief the last third of an inning there in the top of the 6th and comes in here to work the top of the 7th for the Wildcats against Nations, Peters, and Leininger, but it looks like a pinch hitter for the Eagles. First pitch is low and outside for ball 1. Looks like the pinch hitter for your Eagles. Let me look here. Apologize. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-1. In to bat is the catcher, the backup catcher, Reese Herrera. He's on in pitch hitting here for Andrew Nations. 1-1 the count from Rodriguez to Herrera. The 1-1 pitch popped up on the infield. Looks like this one may stay in fair territory if the catcher can get to it. And he's going to catch it right up against the wall. Nice play there by the catcher, Gamez. Coach Vieira going to ask if it hit against the wall, and he trapped it up there. So Herrera on the pinch hit
For Georgetown, number 4.
for Nations. Pops out to the catcher for out number 1, and in steps Brady Peters. He's 1 for 2 on the night. 1 for 3 on the night. First pitch. The 0-1 pitch to Peters, and he pops it up down the right field line. And the first baseman, Graham's unable to get to it. So Peters will stay alive. No balls and 2 strikes in the at-bat. Here at the top of the 7th with Riley Leininger on deck for the Eagles. 5 runs in the 4th, 2 in the 6th for the Eagles. Gives them the 7-3 lead. 1 run in the 5th, 2 in the 6th for the Wildcats. We go to the last inning with 1 out. The 0-2 pitch to Peters from Rodriguez. Called strike 3. Tough call there for strike 3, and Peters goes down looking for out number 2. First strikeout of the ball game for Rodriguez, 5th of the ball game for Elgin pitching. And that'll bring up Riley Leininger, where he is 1 for 3 on the night. Single and a run scored back in the 4th inning. A strikeout in the 3rd and a fly out in the 5th. Steps in here with 2 outs to face off against Rodriguez from the windup, the first pitch. Gets the outside corner for the called strike. 0-1 the count to Riley Leininger. Rodriguez, the 0-1 pitch. Misses for ball 1. 1-1 now the count to Riley Leininger. Leininger back in. Rodriguez from the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Leininger swinging a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 the count. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. The base is empty for the Eagles. Their final appearance at the plate here tonight. Should they hold the Wildcats in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-2 pitch from Rodriguez. It's low for ball 2. 2-2 the count to Riley Leininger, the shortstop tonight for your Eagles. Eli Hellman out for the ball game. Rodriguez from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Outside corner. Called strike 3. 2 back-to-back strikeouts. Gets the Eagles retired here in the top of the 7th. They go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And after 6.5 innings, 7-3 your score. Georgetown leads it over Elgin. Back for the last inning. Last half inning of baseball here on SHN in just a moment.